What cereal can you not try anymore due to it being discontinued? That's the question I was wondering recently because something is so fascinating about a thing you can't even try anymore. I would honestly compare it to a lost media. Something you might remember or have seen in the past, but you would never be able to see it or, in this case, taste it again. Going straight in the video with the cereal that started my curiosity, Rice Krispie Treats. I'm not talking about the sweet, yummy, gooey bar of Rice Krispies you get. It was an actual cereal that was introduced in March 1993 and discontinued in 2020. Before the recipe changed, it was described as a normal Rice Krispie treat in a sense, with that marshmallow and buttery flavor we all know and love. People said it also had a perfect crunch to it. It was just amazing. I never had the chance to try this cereal, and I'm so devastated after hearing about it all these years later. But something I have tried in the past is Captain Crunch Sprinkled Donut Crunch. I remember this cereal being extremely good. Once you were done eating the cereal, the milk at the bottom would have a bunch of sprinkles. It was just amazing. It was released in 2014. The cereal box was filled with donut-shaped pieces and multicolored sprinkles. Other people have described the taste and feel of it as like a glazed donut with some brown sugar and buttery undertones. It would be thrown off the shelves sometime in 2019, sadly. Quaker Oats, the owner of Captain Crunch, never gave an answer for why it was discontinued. But it was probably due to the fact that sales just went down. I'll hope someday that I'll be able to taste the cereal I once had. It sounds like, just thinking about it sounds amazing. On the subject of sprinkles, I present Sprinkle Sprinkles. I wouldn't blame you if you never heard of this cereal before. Neither did I until a day or two ago. It would be discontinued only after 1 year in stores, but even with that short amount of time, it grew a small but dedicated fan base. The reason that people loved it and despised it at the same time was due to the fact that it was just way too sweet, and its sugar cookie flavor just had way too much sugar in it. Rest in peace, Sprinkle Sprinkles, 1993 to 1994. Moving on to something much healthier, Honey Nut Clusters, released in 1986. This cereal from General Mills featured wheat and rice flakes with clusters of oats, nuts, and honey. The recipe changed in 2007 when the almonds were replaced with an almond flavor to save money. If I were to guess what it tastes like, it's probably just like honey bunches of oats, but with more chunks in it. Production ended in 2012. Turning back into extremely unhealthy breakfasts, we have S'mores Crunch. The cereal was originally out from 1982 to 1988. It had a crispy chocolate-flavored graham cereal with bite-sized marshmallows. There's other s'more-flavored cereal nowadays, but people who originally had S'more Crunch says the closest thing to it is a s'mores cereal made by Malto-Meal. S'mores Crunch would return briefly during the start of 2024, but sadly didn't last long. Staying along the tone of chocolate flavors, we have Rocky Road cereal. Introduced in 1986, Rocky Road cereal had a sweetened corn cereal with marshmallow covered in a chocolate coating with nuts. The box would often feature toys and prizes such as a mini piano, glow-in-the-dark stickers, hats, and many more. But only after 30 years it would be discontinued in 1989. With Rocky Road being an ice cream flavor, I think it would be appropriate to talk about the ice cream cones. Ice cream cones were designed to taste like a vanilla or a chocolate chip ice cream, with scoop-shaped puffs and crunchy cone-shaped pieces. It would stop being in production in 1987 only after a year of being sold. But in 2003 it returned due to the fact it was the real ice cream cone's 100th anniversary, but soon after that it faded away. Moving on to the second group of cereals I have lined up. First, we have the Sour Patch Kids cereal, deemed to be the worst cereal of all time due to the fact it should just be common sense that sour should not mix with milk.
First bite, bad, didn't like. kind of getting that kind of like, is this milk spoiled question in my mind.
I remember seeing these in stores when they first came out in 2019, but I never picked them up. It was discontinued a year later in 2020. I do regret that I never got to taste these. I heard that eating them dry was somewhat better, but still pretty bad. I don't really know how to segue into these next cereals because they're all kind of different. So the icy cereal. The icy cereal was actually the most recent discontinued cereal on my list. Made in April 2023 and ended March 2025. The cereal is a cherry and blue raspberry flavor with a gimmick. The box advertised that when you ate the cereal, you would get a cooling sensation of icy. The public said it was awful and the cooling sensation felt like sucking on a cough drop. I don't know if this is the same, but I went to like Dollar Tree, picked up like a icy thing. I ate it and then like my throat would get extremely itchy, so I'm going to guess that it might be somewhat similar. Now, I think every single person on the planet has done this one simple thing. Pouring some cereal and then realizing you don't have any milk to pair it with. So what if I told you there's a cereal out there that doesn't use milk? Instead, it was made for orange juice. The Tropicana Crunch was a one-time release for Orange Juice Day in 2022. It was described tasting like honey bunches of oats and had a decent response from people who tried it. It would also be delivered with a free orange juice coupon. Moving on. You know what I love thinking about when I first wake up in the morning? Fast food. So I'm glad Wendy's had their own Frosty cereal. The cereal would come with a coupon to get a real Frosty from a Wendy's location. Customers would compare it to Cocoa Puffs, but with a better flavor and marshmallows included. They said it was a good cereal even though it didn't taste like an actual Frosty. It lived from 2021 to 2022. My personal favorite breakfast snack has to be Pop-Tarts, and the Pop-Tart brand once made a cereal that looks exactly as good or even better than a normal Pop-Tart. There were two flavors, frosted strawberry and frosted brown sugar cinnamon, with fans loving both. The original Pop-Tarts Crunch cereal was first released in 1994 but only lasted for a short time before vanishing by 1995, though it was re-released in a limited capacity in 2019 and has since faded away from shelves again. I wish that they might release this once more, so I'll be able to have a bite of this frosted goodness. This cereal came straight out of Willy Wonka's factory. The Nerd cereal was a short-lived product from 1985. There were two different boxes, and in each box had two separate flavors. The first box had an orange and cherry flavor, and then the second box had a grape and strawberry flavor. The Nerd cereal was pulled from shelves due to health concerns with its high sugar content and the artificial colorings it's used. Moving to the last group of cereals I have, I would call these the IP cereals. Basically a cereal that uses a game character, a movie character, or a TV show character. These are all pretty similar and basically reskins of cereals you could find today. So I'm going to list as many as I can in 25 seconds, starting in 3, 2, 1. Urkel O's Nintendo Cereal System, Bill and Ted's Excellent Cereal, Buzz Blast, SpongeBob, Mario, Smurfs, Batman, The Simpsons, Star Wars, Pokemon, Mickey Magic, Lilo and Stitch, Donkey Kong, Rugrats in Paris, Looney Tunes, Spider-Man, Jurassic Park, Pac-Man, Honeybees, Toy Story, Superman, Lion King, Finding Nemo, Scooby-Doo, Monsters University, Turbo, Strawberry Cereal, Robots, the movie. And I still have like a couple more on this list I made. Like Hot Wheels, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and like Ice Age 2. My point being, there's so many of these IP cereals, they're all the same, so I'm not going to list all of these. It's the end of the video. I definitely didn't do every discounted cereal. I just kind of picked the ones I wanted to talk about. Cause there's like whole wiki pages of Captain Crunch cereals that's not around anymore. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, there's a lot more cereal, so I'm able to do part 2. Anyways,